me just say this before we, get into the recap of this episode, which this is more of a lighthearted episode, no action, but more development. But let me just say this. Windbreaker has surprised me because I thought it was just going to be another action high school life series. But what this has really turned into is more of a like life lesson, soul searching. You can learn something from this. And to me, if you can't relate to the school life of it, right? You can't relate to the fighting aspect of it. Some of the things that they're going through and that they're talking about, you can likely relate to that, right? And that is what I think is one of the key things that draws people to this show. What keeps them, though, is the little pockets of growth and development that you see, not just for the main character, but also for the side characters as well. So let's get into it. This episode, Sakura's sick, right? I think this is pretty much ending the kill arc right here. Like this episode, I believe was like the end to it, right? I think. So Sakura's sick. He didn't show up from work. So Suo and Nide went to go and see him, right? As you can see in the scene here, this is Sakura's apartment building, right? This, as they called it, a haunted house. Now, it fits the part, okay? It does fit the part, but they find out that Sakura is living alone, right? He's living alone here, and we are just gonna skip to some scenes and just quickly go over them. So let me get this here. So let's get into it. Skip to some scenes. Not that many things to go over here, but just really skip to some scenes here. Now they leave, and this is what I was kind of alluding to in the last episode about Nide, right? About his character and what his character means for the overall development of Sakura. I think he's like the anchor for Sakura, right? That is pretty much letting him know that all this new emotions that he's feeling, right, is okay. Right? It's okay, because what Sakura was struggling with is he did everything by himself, right? Rejection, being alone, not being liked. He's been the lone wolf, right? So coming from that to this, where it's about friendship, trusting others, relying on others, delegating, not being this one-man army, but in fact being a army, right? With you at the helm, is what's really frustrating for him, because he doesn't know how to deal with it. And I think when I say that Nide is the anchor, he is going to be the character that helps him deal with it. He really is. I think he really is. Now, I talk shit about the character. I do. And I will continue to do so. But I also think that his character is pivotal for our main character, right? And not just for our main character, but probably for some other side characters as well. And this is pretty much them leaving Sakura's place. And, because Suo noticed that Sakura doesn't really know how to handle what's happening around him right now. So he's giving him some space. And Nide is pretty much saying that he just wants Sakura to know that this is an option, that we're here, you're not alone, kind of deal. And that's what I think is really going to help the character like develop and grow into that. Right? So it's really some interesting stuff here because, you know, the frustration on his face, him realizing, you know, what's happening and not knowing how to deal with it, and still thinking that it's not safe to do so, that he's weak for doing it. That's what this frustration is right here. And it's crazy because, like I said, I think that a lot more people can relate to actions like this than what some people may try to portray this anime as being like a school, more so of a school life, or more so of like an action anime, which there is action and there is school life. But to me, those two things are kind of just like sub categories to like the main thing, which is the life lessons that's happening here. So this is him pretty much being frustrated with knowing that this is happening, right? That things are changing. He doesn't know how to deal with it, right? He's frustrated here. And there's a lot of good supporting characters in this series. A lot of good supporting characters, right? We have another one here who's pretty much like the big sister. Not just to Sakura, but I think, you know, to a lot of the kids at that school when they go to that shop, is that she's the big sister here, right? She's the one that's telling you how it is and telling you it's okay, right? Her words stuck with him. You'll see, you know, as you watch this episode and you get to the end, her words stuck with him, you know? And I think that was interesting to see because that was fairly early on in the first episode, right? So you can see the kind of effect that the words had on him from that early on, right? You see the development of this character before your very eyes. Like Sakura is actually like, it's crazy how fast it's going, but how good it's going as well. It's not like it's going too fast. There's a good pacing here, I think. I think there's a good pacing here for Sakura. It's so good. So she's like the big sister, right? Telling you how it is, letting you know it's okay, right? I'm not sure what happened there. But let's go to another scene here. Which we only got two more scenes left. And this one here, where Kaiji just pretty much tells him that you're afraid of being rejected, right? Because he was in a similar boat, right? Kaiji was in a similar boat, so he's pretty much telling him that you're afraid of being rejected. And that's ultimately the issue that Sakura is right. He's scared of being rejected, probably because it's happened in the past, or he's never felt that he can open up and be vulnerable, but he's afraid of that. Now, what I really want to touch on is Kaiji, what he's doing here, right? How they started off and went to the rooftop is exactly what you find out at the end, is exactly what an upperclassman did to him when he asked for help, right? And so now he's the upperclassman that's doing it because he's being asked for help. So again, he's a side character, but you see the growth in him as well, right? You see the growth in him as well. And that, just these little pieces that are like getting put together to this, you know, grand scheme of life lessons, right? Like you're seeing these characters like develop before your very eyes. And it's not very often that you see a character like Sakura, who's the way he is from the beginning, you know, just one-man army, lone wolf, doesn't trust anybody, right? Eventually you see these characters progress, but not in this way, right? Like this is being done really well. And then we're gonna go to the last thing here, right? And I think this is one of the biggest pieces of it, right? Where he actually lifts his head up and he looks their way, right? Insinuating that he's looking their way, right? From the advice that he gave Nagato and the advice that he was given, right? He was told to look their way at the beginning from the big sister, right? Then the Nagato incident, he said, you don't even look their way. And he was pretty much doing that, right? Not looking the way of his friends that are trying to help him, right? So again, it's so good. And you see the development of this character before your very eyes. Like, seeing him look up like that is just icing on the cake. It really is icing on the cake. So, you know, I'm really excited to see what more they do with this character. And I don't believe it's only going to be him either. I think a lot of the main supporting characters have their own issues that they, I hope, will bring up and give us some insight on. But you can't deny that the storytelling is just superb. The storytelling is just superb. I gotta give this episode like a 9 out of 10. The storytelling is just superb, from the main character to the supporting characters. Right? It's just so good. But let me know what you guys think about this episode here. Do you like it? Do you not like it? The life lessons, anything you can relate to, anything you can't relate to, and your overall thoughts on the episode. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. As always, keep on keeping on.